Hi everyone, Alex Tardy here with the Weather Echo. The sun is still out in Southern California and it's quite mild and the wind is light. What's going on? Let's talk about the Pacific storm coming in. It's already brought heavy rain to Northern and Central California and it is coming down here. And it does have an atmospheric river that will stall over Southern California. But we have more storms next week, Monday and Tuesday, and perhaps even a third after that. So let's take a look at this insight for precipitation in California. Okay, what's the weather pattern? What I'm showing here is a collection of weather models, the average of them. That way, it doesn't jump back and forth as much with the data each time it's updated. So we've got a large closed low. It's actually broken away from the main jet stream to the north. And you can see in central Canada here, it's moving by. But on Friday, it's going to move right down into the California Bight and slow down. So it's almost cut off from the jet stream, but it is a closed low. Now, it's got another storm upstream that's going to kick it out. But before that, it's going to be very slow moving. And that's what's taken so long for it to make it into Southern California. Yes, it first appeared, it was Tuesday, Wednesday, then Wednesday, Thursday, then Thursday, Friday, now Friday, Saturday. That's because it is completely broken away and really slowed down. Now, it'll get picked back up in the jet stream and kicked out as the next storm comes in. So we call this a closed upper low that is partially broken off from the jet stream. Okay, let's take a look at the next system. Okay, this one takes a very similar path, and really we've been seeing this path since this past summer. But these storms are colder, stronger, and they have access now to not the monsoon moisture, but the tropical moisture in the Pacific or the atmospheric rivers. So this one takes a similar path into Southern California, right on its heels on Monday. Then notice on Tuesday, it doesn't really go anywhere. So it too breaks away from the jet stream. So the system that goes by to the north in central Canada, see, they're detached, they're separated. So it's not completely cut off, but it's separated from that main jet stream. It's going to take the next system, see the red arrow, to kick this one out. And it looks like this one could linger not only Tuesday, perhaps into Wednesday. Okay, what about the atmospheric river part of this? The transport of the wind transporting the moisture or the tropical moisture. So you need wind, you need tropical moisture. So a pretty healthy atmospheric river in central northern California is shown in the purple here. Now, the probability of having an atmospheric river is what this is shown. Now, in Southern California, you can see not only is it high probability, but it's extended for a couple days. That's because the storm system closes off and allows it to almost stall over Southern California when it makes it here Friday and into Saturday especially. Now, there's another one right on its heels, and that one sweeps across on the 17th. We even have another potential atmospheric river after that. That's towards next weekend, early part of next weekend, so Friday, Saturday. So quite active in terms of the Pacific, especially this far south in latitude. And I have the latitude marked on there in the black line for Southern California. Let's look at this. You might find this interesting. So the atmospheric river, it's already moving into northern and central California. It's a moderate, most of it's weak, but it's a moderate strength in the core. Now, it comes in very normal looking, west to east, progressive. But remember, this system is breaking away from the jet stream and slowing down. That's been the challenge of the forecast and why it's been delayed with the rainfall in Southern California. Meanwhile, it's pouring in Northern California now. Take a look what happens on Saturday, and this is key. So because we have a closed low, so think of a circulation, a lot like a hurricane circulation, but this is a cold core system. Not only does that stall, but that's wrapping new and enhanced energy and atmospheric river moisture, that darker red, right into it, into the California Bight. So the key is, if you're going to get the heavy rain, you're going to get the big amounts of several inches of rain, even if you're a coastal community, you need to be in that path. So when it slows down and when it taps into that on Saturday, that's really going to ignite the heavy rain and even some embedded thunderstorms. So you can see how it curls all the way up into Point Conception. Okay, so it doesn't just sweep through like a normal atmospheric river. The circulation of the upper low allows it to stall and then pull northward. So slower and stronger for the California Bight. Okay, the precipitation totals, you've been watching this closely probably. We know it's going to rain. We've known that for over a week, but just how much and where? What I like to do is keep track of each forecast, whether it's a computer model or an official forecast. And I've been doing the same with the computer models and looking for consistency. Quite a bit of consistency here. So this is November 12th issuance on Wednesday and November 13th. Both of them were associated with what's shown in the middle, the yellow, slight risk of excessive rainfall. Saturday, a large area of excessive rainfall, because that's when the storm is at its peak and right along the coast with that upper low. Now, it's not always best to focus on the numbers, but you can see even in the LA basin, the numbers have gone up. Even in San Diego, numbers have gone up, but generally consistent of anywhere between 1 and 4 inches of rain along the coast. And that's a lot of rain. Most of this is going to occur with the first storm, Friday and especially Saturday, and a little bit more with the second storm. But we'll take a look. The second storm is not as strong, even though it's slow moving. Okay. This is the storm when it's right over us on Saturday, when we could see the heaviest rain, embedded thunderstorms, bands of intense rainfall, potential flash flooding, urban flooding, mud and debris flows. Look how you can see the entire circuit. So we see this weather pattern in the summer when we have thunderstorms and elevated thunderstorms interacting with the monsoon. The difference here is now we have real cold air. Okay, we've got more energy, more cold air, and we've got access to a full-blown atmospheric river. Look how it pulls it right up into San Diego, into the LA basin. And that's going to be slow moving on Saturday. Okay, what about the next system? Well, the next system comes in fast on Monday, and it sweeps through more progressive. Now, we do know this storm system, as I showed you earlier, will stall over Southern California because it breaks away from the jet stream, waiting for more energy to kick it out. But it has less tropical moisture. A lot of that tropical moisture in the Pacific has been used up. So right now it looks weaker, but still widespread rain Monday and Tuesday, becoming showery on Wednesday. And it has cold air with it as well, because the origin of these Pacific storms, you guessed it, they're coming from Alaska. Okay, here is what I showed a few days ago. This was the outlook showing California wet, but not only California wet up to the 15th, but California wet after the 15th. That's the key. So this ensemble prediction was indicating that, yeah, we were going to get rain sometime during the week, and it turns out it's coming in later, Friday and Saturday, because it's a closed upper low, slowing down, breaking away from the jet stream. But also, look what it was predicting for this upcoming week. So the Monday, Tuesday storm and the possible one after that. So it was also predicting above average wet conditions for that second week period. Okay, what about the latest information? Latest information, of course, it's really focused on the two big systems coming in, especially the one on Saturday, the one that's already delivered heavy rain to central northern California. Then it shows a drying trend right before Thanksgiving. Now, just to tease you, there is some prediction after Thanksgiving in early December for return to wet pattern. Hope you found this insight helpful. We're also posting on YouTube and we're posting on TikTok. We got real-time information and other maps on X as well. Of course, you can sign up for our blog as well. Sometimes we go into a little deeper dive in the blog. All right, everyone, be safe. Keep an eye on the forecast. Know that just widespread rain on Friday will cause traffic problems. And know that the rain could be too heavy in a lot of areas, especially Santa Barbara and the LA Basin, and perhaps even parts of Orange and San Diego coast. And don't forget about our mountains. The snow levels, they're going to start off really high, above 9,000 feet, because this is a warm storm on Friday. They will come down, but it's going to take time until Saturday, and especially Saturday afternoon and evening, when the storm system moves across Southern California. That'll bring the snow levels way down to 6,500 feet. We do get a break on Sunday, but keep in mind more rain for the start of the work week on Monday that could last showery Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. All right, everyone, take care.